and Parker, Colorado, both at the top of your list of places you think you might want to move to? Well, you're in the right place because we're going to compare and contrast them both today and figure out what the right fit for you is. But we're not going to stay surface level. We are going to really dive deep into things that affect your appreciation value, make sure you're making the right financial investment for you as well. And if you're looking for other videos that cover nearby areas or compare and contrast other similar suburbs, this is the right place. Subscribe so you can be the first to see it all. Here on this channel is me, Megan Friedel, and my brother, Jake Friedel, and we are a brother-sister duo, your full-time real estate agents and part-time tour guides to all things Southern Denver living. Let's kick this off with maybe the most obvious of information. Castle Rock and Parker are both mainly HOA communities. In most neighborhoods, it shows with polished appearances and very maintained parks and spaces. Some areas of Castle Rock have access to the Taft House and the Grange, and the Grange is probably the most beautiful of any of these HOA amenities. You can even host your wedding there. But if an HOA isn't really your thing, there are a select few without them. Over in the Parker area, we have Cottonwood and Country Meadows. Those are probably your two biggest no HOA communities. And then in Castle Rock, the notable ones are Baldwin Park and Craig and Gold. But mostly you're gonna be stuck with an HOA. Let's talk a little bit about geography, as that's gonna play a huge role for which of the communities is right for you. Castle Rock tends to be a little bit further south from Denver, and Parker tends to be a little bit east, further from the mountains. Both of those are cons for most people moving to Colorado because they either want easy access to the city and places to work, or they want easy access to mountains to go play. So for both of these are big generalizations, because I will say, though Castle Rock is further south and Parker is further east, depending on where you're at in the community is going to play a huge role on your commute times. So you can be in Parker and be on the furthest southeast side and actually be a longer commute to Denver than if you're in Castle Rock and really close to the interstate. And the same is true from the mountains if you switch it. So for both of them, you're going to really want to consider in your traffic times for how long it takes to commute to the interstates. And you'll want to realize that Parker has direct access to E470, which is reliably faster than I-25. Now it is a toll road, so there's that cost that you want to know, and because it goes east before it starts heading north, it's not tremendously helpful with the downtown commute, but it is very helpful if you frequent the airport. That connectedness that geographically Parker offers that Castle Rock doesn't as much, what I'm referring to when I say that is it has pretty easy access to Centennial and everything that Centennial has to offer. You can shoot up to Aurora or pop over to Lone Tree or down to Castle Rock and all that those communities has to offer. It just has a little bit more around it. Whereas Castle Rock, I would say, is a little bit more isolated. It's kind of more removed from everything. And, I'd say that's kind of by design. I think the beauty of that is everything that it has to offer, which will bring us to our next point, which is Castle Rock, I think, is a little bit more connected to nature. Right here, we're in Daniels Park, and this is a fantastic example of the beautiful nature that Castle Rock has to offer. Now, Daniels Park is a little bit further out from Castle Rock, but it's easily a very short drive. And then Castle Rock itself has all this access to trails and hiking. And that's because it has a little bit more of elevation change. So you see a little bit more of that true hiking, where both communities absolutely have beautiful access to trails and some outdoor parks, lots of things like that. With Parker, you're a little bit more flat, so you're not seeing as much of that. But of course, this is another generalization. One of my favorite things to do over in Parker is the Ritter-Hess incline. Very much not flat. This is very much like the Manitou incline, if you've ever heard of that, down further by the springs, where it's got a ton of steps that go straight up and a pretty sweet mountain view. Other honorable mentions do tend more towards the flat side. You've got Tallman Gulch Trail for some nice walking, Baldwin Gulch Trail as well. And then of course you've got the Parker Centennial open space, a ton of natural open space with connections to the Cherry Creek Trail over there. So you can do some extended hiking and exploration. And then Castle Rock, of course, this area of Daniels Park is absolutely gorgeous. It's also got really easy access to Castlewood Canyon. This is great for climbing and hiking alike. You've got the rocks, so that is the famous Castle Rock Trail. Pretty short and easy with still some great views. And then of course, Philip S. Miller Park and the Ridgeline open space. And where Castle Rock tends to shine in its connectedness to nature and the outdoors and maybe a more mountainous feel, it does have a trade-off. Its biggest one being that there's no Costco. I know that maybe this sounds a little bit silly, but I've had several people come to me and say, if there's not a Costco, that's a deal breaker. There's no Trader Joe's either. And I can't help you out there, but I can tell you that Costco is coming to Castle Rock probably in the next year or so. So if you can hold out that long, then that problem will be completely solved for you.
Ooh, I can't wait! It's gonna be so happy, so excited, so much fun!
So no, at the time that I'm recording this, no Costco down in Castle Rock, but probably by the time maybe even you're watching this, it has one. And down in Castle Rock, because it is a little bit less connected, I'd say it's got the best downtown area of any of the southern suburbs. And it's also got an awesome outlet mall. It's called the Outlets down at Castle Rock, and it draws in people from all over the place. Parker does still have a super cute downtown that I also love, but I think Castle Rock takes the cake there. If a new build community is something that you want, then both Parker and Castle Rock are fantastic options. While Castle Rock does shine a little brighter in this area, it had 83 new build options last year, while Parker only had 45. They both still have really strong options and more coming in the next year. And even if brand new construction isn't your game, you can still get a resale that is built within the last few years because both communities are pretty new in general. And if another option you're looking for is a lot of land, both of these communities shine as well. Now you're not going to find maybe the same kind of acreage accessibility that you might find if you go a little further east. They both have some really strong options. Castle Rock again shines a little brighter in this area. Last year it had 19 options for lot sizes over 20 acres, and Parker still had 9. So that's a huge plot of land, and if it's something you're looking for, you're probably going to be able to find something in either of the communities. And if this kind of thing is what you're looking for, even if it's just over an acre, it's very important that the real estate agent you're working with is highly experienced in rural properties. That's because there are a lot of things that honestly you don't even know you don't know until you learn it the hard way when it comes to horse and rural properties. Things about wells, septic, landlines, and surveys that you want to be sure your real estate agent is well versed in. And if you want more information about horse properties in Castle Rock, we have a whole video of that. Jake and I are very experienced in all things rural properties and horse properties, so be sure and check that out. And if that's something you're looking for, give us a call. So these 20+ acre lots are not really the standard of Castle Rock or Parker. Typically you're going to see a lot more of a traditional suburb type size. So over in Castle Rock, they had a median lot size last year of 7,841 square feet, and pretty much identical over in Parker with 7,405 square feet. That's not the only area that they're very similar in. For the data of last year, what the median sale home looked like was 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,437 above ground square footage with 3,840 square feet, including that basement over in Castle Rock. Super comparative over in Parker, 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 2,371 square feet, and then throwing in the basement to create a 3,590 square foot median sized home in Parker. With a really similar closeout price over in Castle Rock, $740,000 for their median, and Parker $730,000. And one way that Parker did outperform Castle Rock a little bit last year is the close to list price ratio. So this is the amount that the home had to lower their price or accept a lower price compared to where they initially started listing at. And for Parker, we saw a very marginal improvement of that ratio. We also saw, in line with that thought, a lower median days on market. So while Castle Rock took an average of 43 days to close their sale, Parker did it a little faster with a median of 32. Why this matters is it's typically indicative of the performance of the area. I think that these are so incredibly similar that it isn't too much of a difference to really say one is such a strong winner. And I think that where this came from this last year was Castle Rock had so much new build activity, and that makes it, first of all, those take longer to sell, and then for people who are reselling, competing against those new builds, it can create a little bit more competition. They're able to cut their rates really low, and everybody loves a bright and shiny new build. So I think that last year that was a big driver of this little bit slower growth. I think where we will start to see that already very small gap of days on market between Castle Rock and Parker start to close in even more is going to be as they start to wrap up some of their new development projects. Now there's a lot of room to grow in Castle Rock, and they are doing a lot of new developments, and they are doing some in Parker as well. I think as that all starts to wrap up, we're going to see that days on market kind of start to shift a little bit, and we're going to see strong appreciation in both communities. Castle Rock does also have that Dawson development that's redevelopment for some retail. That's the Costco that I mentioned earlier on. And it being right on the I-25 corridor it gives it some strength. You know, it has commuters both from the Colorado Springs area and into the Denver area. So I think both communities, we should see some pretty strong appreciation for them. You've probably got some follow-up questions, and there's so much more to know about Castle Rock and Parker, so please reach out to us. No video is a replacement for a real in-person or over-the-phone conversation with a real estate professional. We are excited to hear from you, so whether you're looking to move in 9 days, 90 days, or 900 days, let's chat.